Hi lovelies, welcome back to this channel. If you're new here, my name is Belinda Strana. Thank you so much for all the love and support. Don't forget to please subscribe to this channel, turn on notifications so that anytime I upload videos, you will be the first person to be notified. To my returning subscribers, to those people that share my videos, leave commentaries, and also educate each and every one of us, you guys are the real MVP. Alright, lovelies, let's dive into today's video. So, lovelies, I came across this video on my For You page on TikTok, and I thought to share with you guys where so many Republicans are so frustrated to the fact that they voted against Obamacare and now seeking for solution on what to do, to retrieve these tracks that they have actually put themselves on. I'm just going to roll the clip as well as some of other stitches I was able to put together. Please leave me your own thought in the comment section of what you think of this video. Please do not forget that we do not support any form of bullying and harassment. We are just here for educational purposes. Alright, lovelies, let's dive into it.
Hold the F on. Trump voters with pre-existing conditions are out there crying now because they just realized Obamacare is the Affordable Care Act. The Affordable Care Act that they just voted to repeal because they were good thanks to Obamacare. Are you effing kidding me? I can't with this. Yes, unfortunately, MAGA nuts are just now realizing that the Affordable Care Act and Obamacare are one in the same. The Do Your Own Research crew did not do their research and voted against their own interest. And now that they voted the man into office who's going to get rid of their health insurance, now they're crying. Not only that, they are pissed off with the Democrats for naming the Affordable Care Act Obamacare. Yep, the Do Your Own Research crew. They do not know that it was the Republicans that named the Affordable Care Act Obamacare, and they did it to incite them to manipulate their feelings against the Affordable Care Act. Tell the truth, MAGA nuts. You thought they were separate, and you thought Obamacare was for the black people. That's why you wanted to get rid of Obamacare. That, and because Obamacare was tied to the black president. That's why you wanted to get rid of Obamacare. This is what happens when you're driven by hate and division and you don't do your own research. Unfortunately, there are millions of other people, including you, that will now have to find out because of your stupidity.
Good evening, everybody. I'm coming on tonight to congratulate all the supporters of Donald Trump and Donald Trump himself for pulling off what appears to be an amazing victory. I obviously was a supporter of Ms. Harris, and she lost. And what's the most refreshing thing is that unlike what Donald Trump did 4 years ago, and what his supporters said they would do again if he did not win this election, which means not congratulate the other side, Ms. Harris congratulated Mr. Trump and clearly said that he won. And that's how democracy works. A couple things. One of the things Donald Trump said he's going to do is eliminate Obamacare. Do you know the states that benefit the most from Obamacare? The southern states, all of that voted for Donald Trump. I just think that's important. Let's see what happens.
Please stop and listen to this if it concerns you, because I know I need a lot of help and other people do as well. So when the ACA gets repealed, what can we do, right? Like, I know TikTok is a great place for education and resources, so please stitch this or leave a comment or something on what we can do if the ACA gets repealed. There are so many of us that rely on the ACA, not just for quality of life, but just to live, period, right? Like, one of the medicines I take is $300,000 a year. One. Right? And if insurances no longer have to accept people with pre-existing conditions, it's like, what, like, all I could think to do is leave and go somewhere. And I was doing research, like Portugal and France have universal health care, and they also allow people with pre-existing conditions on there. So maybe that's an option, but I know moving isn't an option for most people, especially disabled people. But I don't know. I mean, I don't even know if I could, but I feel like it's like a last resort situation. I don't know what to do. So please, stitch this with some type of advice or education or something on what to do. Because I'm lost. I know a lot of other people are too.
Well, a little over 3 years ago, I publicly shared that I was super fired up. Not because I was diagnosed with breast cancer, but because of the high cost of diagnostic testing to be diagnosed. This just really lit a fire inside of me to help advocate for change and stand up for those going through it behind me. Today, I am coming on super fired up because there is so much on the line in the election. And there has not been enough attention around the Affordable Care Act set to expire in 2025 and what that means. To be honest, before I was diagnosed with breast cancer, I was a young, healthy person. I wouldn't have thought much of it. Living this, it has changed the way I think. So, with the Affordable Care Act, it protects Americans from being discriminated against by their insurance company. If this expires, insurance companies can charge those with pre-existing conditions more or deny them coverage altogether. It also allows for breast screenings to be covered 100% by your insurance. It also covers young adults age 18 to 26 to stay on their parents' insurance. And say those young adults, if they have a pre-existing condition or even something in childhood that they outgrew, insurance providers could charge them more or deny them coverage altogether. There is so much on the line. And as a breast cancer survivor, I am horrified if this is to happen. If our insurance becomes more expensive or if I am denied coverage, I don't know what we will do. As a survivor, you are at higher risk for other cancers and you have to be under surveillance. It takes money to do that. I am just one of millions that could be affected by this. Your vote matters. Know what you are voting for. Are you voting against yourself? Are you voting against your loved ones? If you want to protect the women, you need to keep the Affordable Care Act.
Real quick, my team, I'm going to try to explain this delicately because we have brains, so this is going to be extremely hard to get. Imagine taking an open book exam and still failing it. No, because this is for you. Imagine taking open book exam and still failing it. Now imagine you had years to study for said exam and yet you still failed it. Imagine that for a second.
Hey Medical Mom Besties, raise a hand if you remember a time before the Affordable Care Act. Now let's put a finger down if you remember a time when insurance companies could discriminate against anyone who had a pre-existing condition. I sure remember. You couldn't get insurance to save your life. And I mean literally to save your life. You couldn't get insurance if you had a pre-existing condition. Now let's also remember that at this point, 78% of Americans are documented as having had COVID. And despite being pretty much in denial about long COVID, generally speaking, we know that long COVID exists and the insurance company knows it exists. So guess what? 78% of all Americans could be precluded with pre-existing conditions because they've had COVID. That's on top of all the other chronic health conditions. Put a finger down if you remember a time when there was a lifetime cap on insurance and you couldn't get insurance after you capped that out. So that could be in the first year or two of life, like it was with my kids.
The amount of people I have seen say they voted for Trump to get rid of Obamacare because the Affordable Care Act is better is absolutely delicious. It's so funny.
So a lot of people don't think that the Affordable Care Act, also called Obamacare, affect them. And I just want to say that it does. And in 2015, I had a prescription that I really needed, and it cost $300 for a 30-day supply without insurance. Today, I got the same prescription, a 90-day supply, also without insurance, and it was $44 for a 90-day supply versus $300 for a 30-day supply. Like, those are the real, tangible things that people care about, and this is one of the things that I'm afraid of during the Trump presidency, is that will go away. I want everybody to have insurance. I don't want this to, be a conversation, but negotiating drug prices has been a huge win for Democrats.
No, but I do think we need to have a serious conversation about this whole Obamacare bad but Affordable Care Act good thing. Instead of mocking the people who think that, let's talk about what it actually shows us, because I think that's important, and it's going to be so important moving forward for the next 4 years. The right wing is and has always been excellent with their marketing. They have drilled it into people that Obamacare is bad, that anything associated with Obama is bad. But it works. People say they hate Obamacare, but then you've got all these individuals saying, oh, but I hope they don't take away my Affordable Care Act. And we've known this for quite some time now, actually, because they've done, surveys and studies that show when you ask, how do you feel about Obamacare, people respond negatively. But when you break it down and ask people how they feel about the individual components of the Affordable Care Act, there's like a 70 or 80% approval. And we see the same thing in Florida, too. What was it, only 2 years ago, where Florida passed a higher minimum wage, but voted for all Republicans. And we saw it again this year, too. Florida, it didn't pass, but 57% of people voted in favor of keeping abortion access. In Florida, that's crazy. And again, it didn't pass because the Republicans who are in charge know that something like that is actually pretty favorable, so they set the bar at 60%, not just 50% the majority like almost every other state. And I'm just begging the Democratic establishment to recognize that they think their problem is that they're not center enough. They need to go more moderate, more centrist. But their actual problem is that they're just really bad at marketing. They are out of touch with the general population. And quite honestly, a lot of you are out of touch too. Let's stop grammar shaming people that voted for Trump and then being shocked when the right wing has it out for the left. Nobody cares how you're spelling there. You know what they're trying to say. But anyway, I just really hope that the Democratic establishment recognizes people want progressive ideas. It just needs to be palatable to the general population. We need to do a better job of making the information digestible. Maybe instead of spending the next 4 years finding the most moderate, basic white man you can, invest in a PR firm. What's Molly McPherson doing for the next 4 years? And I understand that we are all upset and frustrated and anxious and scared about what the next 4 years are going to look like. I am too. But shaming people isn't going to help the situation. That's not going to bring them into the fold. It's just going to exile them from us even more. For anyone that's been paying attention seriously, it feels very much like Republicans have been playing chess for the last 4 years, and Democrats are just now opening up a checkers box. And I don't know, maybe the best use of our time over the next 4 years is to learn how to play chess.
Serious question for the Republicans who didn't know that the Affordable Care Act and Obamacare were the same thing. What was the thought process there? Did you think that you had the Affordable Care Act because it was for Republicans and Obamacare was for the Democrats? Did you think that Obama was still helping with Obamacare? Did you think Obama was running it? What did you think the main difference was between Obamacare and the Affordable Care Act? Like, did you just think like Obamacare was the more liberal insurance and you just got like the more non-liberal insurance? I'm not even trying to be mean. I'm genuinely so fascinated by this blunder. I can understand not getting tariffs, sure. I'm just, if we didn't think they were the same thing, what did we think they were? How did we think they were different? Like, when you got your Affordable Care Act coverage, did you specifically say, no Obamacare for me, only Affordable Care Act? Did you think that Trump was going to take away the free Obamacare insurance for Democrats, but not the Affordable Care Act insurance for Republicans? I'm genuinely trying to understand. So please leave me a comment. And for what it's worth, I genuinely hope that everyone who needs free health insurance or low-cost health insurance ends up with it at the end of this.
I didn't realize how disconnected people were from how like the political machine works in America until I saw people like genuinely asking why Republicans would rebrand the Affordable Care Act as Obamacare. And there were so many Republicans sort of sitting here confused at the end of the election, like, I thought Obamacare and the Affordable Care Act were different things. The reason why they have two terms for the same policy is because Republicans understood that many people who disliked Obama, their dislike for him was not rooted in his policies. I'm not going to sit here and accuse people of certain ideologies, feelings, biases, but I will say Republicans understood that the root cause of that dislike had more to do with Obama as a person than it did with his policies. And they knew that because of blind focus groups. They test different policies with people to see which ones resonate the most. Typically, Democratic Party policies resonate the most. Once they are attached to a politician or a party, that's when you see a drop in support of those policies. It's kind of funny that in an era when Americans were patting themselves on the back and proclaiming we were in a post-racial society, Republicans were harnessing, in part, anti-black...
If you are worried about losing your health care under the Trump administration, open enrollment for the Affordable Care Act is happening right now, and you can enroll into January. The Affordable Care Act is so well put together that it would take Trump and his administration a while to dismantle it, if they even could. But if that's something you are worried about, I would recommend enrolling.
Seriously, lovelies, this is actually a case of crying over a spilled milk. The milk has already been spilled, and I don't think that there is nothing anyone can do about it. The only thing that I think people will keep on praying is for this not to be impacted, like if it's for his administration not to impact the removal of affordable care or Obamacare. Like, sometimes people often think that they are trying to hurt or go against someone without actually knowing that at the end of the day you will end up hurting yourself. A lot of Margaret supporters actually voted out of Senate. Like, they voted because of what they feel, or maybe personal beef that they have with maybe people that looks like me, or maybe they just don't want a person of color to be in a certain position, because with that they feel that that will actually, drag them down, or that will make their position as the supreme, as the majority want to go down the road. And this is something that they did not really make their findings and research well. Even if you want to do something to go against someone, would you actually prefer to hurt someone at the end of the day hurting yourself? Like, I do not even understand what they want. I don't understand what they want there. A lot of them often talk about how people that looks like me are uneducated, they are ghetto, they are whatsoever, but it's actually people that looks like me that took their time to do the due diligence by making that research, even if they know that the person that they wanted to like go for is not actually the best, but they used strategy. So they are supposed to be smart enough. They are supposed to know more than every other person, just be the way at which they feel that they are the ones that know all. They are the ones that are more educated than any other demographic and all of that. But no, it happens that they are not even worth the think that they are. So a lot of these, Republicans actually thought that the Obamacare is different from Affordable Care without even knowing that Obamacare is actually a nickname for Affordable Care. And now a lot of them went ahead to vote against their own interest. Like it's a shameful thing that you just come up and say that, oh, I want to vote for this person because I want him to get rid of Obamacare. Like seriously, or because the nickname sounds Obama. That means anything Obama is actually people that looks like me. It's actually brown people. Like they actually feels that when they do that, they are going to hurt people that looks like me without even knowing that everyone will be in the same shoes. Everyone will find out, and now they are all crying, seeking for solution, hoping that it does not, s- you know. But this is what you could have avoided. This is what you could have avoided from the onset. And now a lot of them are all out blaming, opportunity blame to each and every one of them. Like sometimes I ask myself, who are now the real people that actually voted for red? If every other person that I keep seeing their videos and stitches pointing fingers, so who are they pointing these fingers at? Where are they? Where are the people that actually did this? I don't know. I can't find them anywhere. I've tried all my possible best to search for them to know what they have to say. Like I just keep seeing many of them pointing fingers. Well, this is what you could have done before the election, but no, you don't want to do it because anything that will make POC person to be to have a privilege or a right or something, we need to dismantle it. We don't care the implication, even if it's going to affect us. Even if it's going to affect us. Like a lot of people depend on this affordable care. There are people that have, you know, illness that depend on this. Nature is that illness is not meant for a particular set of people. Anyone can fall ill. This is what they never thought about. Anyone can fall ill. Anyone can be sick. Anyone can need help from all of these programs. But no, they never thought about that. They never even thought about themselves. Thinking about their loved ones before even thinking about people that looks like me. But no, they're just so quick to make a decision that wouldn't benefit anyone that looks like me. This is just who they are. And now everyone is just running helter skelter looking for a way out. No, there is no way out. There is no way out. The thing is that the only way out is just to keep praying that at the end of the day, everything favors everybody. You know? You just keep praying that things turn out to. But when people that looks like me have been telling you guys, who are we self to tell you guys what's up? We are uneducated. We don't know what is going on, or you people just want to come rub shoulders with us. You guys need to remain oppressed. It's all this all what is given. But even if these people are oppressed, which they're already getting used to, you guys are also going to see the consequences. You're going to see the consequences of your actions. Like it baffles me that I was just reading some commentaries regarding this, and so I was like, okay, even if I know that tariff is going to skyrocket things, I'll just make sure that I'm going to stock my house before next year. I don't really care. So far, a POC woman is not in that seat. And I was like, so you prefer to undergo economic crisis and all of that just because you don't want someone of a nature to be on a particular position? Like that is just you are just being so rude to yourself. You're just you brought it upon yourself. Like seriously. So it's so disappointing. that what you think that might affect people that looks like me is also affecting you. You know, my grandfather used to say that when you're pointing your one finger at someone, the four other ones are pointing right back at you. So I think this is just what is happening. Anyway, lovelies, why not just leave me your own thoughts in the comment section of what you think of this video. And please do not forget that we do not support any form of bullying and harassment. We are just here for education and informative purposes. So please share, subscribe if you're here to do that. Join our membership. It's on. We just want to start doing something interesting in the membership. And I will see you lovelies when I upload the next one. I watched up to this extent. Thank you so much for all the love and support. Why not just leave me your own thoughts in the comment section of what you think of this video. And please do not forget that we do not support any form of bullying and harassment. We are just here for educational and informative purposes. Alright lovelies, so please share, subscribe, and I will see you lovelies when I upload the next one.